So let's get started from the beginning. How did you get started in acting?
Oh, I didn't really get started in acting until I was in my early 20s, and I had yet to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I had um, done some, sort of music stuff growing up. I was a singer a little bit. I was a dancer a little bit, and so I'd sort of been a performer in that capacity, but I'd never really learned about acting or done it um, until I was in my 20s, and I decided to get into an acting class. And I studied acting for a couple of years. I was very interested in the process of it and sort of various methods and thoughts about how and what and, sort of what it was all about. And only after studying for a few years did I decide to start auditioning and did a couple of commercials to, pay the bills. And then my first big job was landing a guest spot on Melrose Place.
Wow, that I think that's really cool because we hear all the time about people starting out as little kids, but to know that you started in your 20s, I think that kind of gives hope to a lot of people that are just starting to figure out what they really want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, just because you start when you're young does not translate into, being able to build a career. A lot happens between the time that you're a child and the time that you actually need to have a career and you have adult thoughts and adult opinions, and a lot happens in between those two periods of your life. So I think, not very many people know what they want to do when they're little anyway. It should change.
I agree, it's all part of growing up, right?
Yeah.
And you're most known for your role on Melrose Place. Has this been a good thing or has it been a burden?
I guess it depends on the day. Burden probably is too strong a word. There was a time when the series ended, um, the first time around, the first series, and sort of the 90s, that it was hard to disassociate from the character. People were so used to seeing all of us who were on the show as those characters that we played, and it was difficult for a while to try to have an identity outside of that character and say, no, I don't always have to be that character, and I wasn't that character. I just was playing that character. I
Right.
can play other characters too, and it's hard to sometimes when you play something on television for a long time. Um, it's definitely a blessing. It's always been a blessing. It's always been a wonderful thing. I loved Sydney. I thought she was a great character, and I had a blast playing her. Um, she was free, and with her, almost anything goes, and I loved that opportunity. And very few roles give you that, where you're able to have fun with it. She was comedic. She was sympathetic. She was dark. She was mischievous. There was a lot of things, and the writers were willing to go in all of the various directions, just depending on where the wind was blowing, and that was really fun.
So now you're on Pretty Little Liars playing Ashley Marion, who's Hannah's mom. How were you cast for this role?
It's just a sort of auditioning process. Pilot season, pilot scripts go out, and you get a chance to read what the networks are doing, and certain scripts really jump out at you and say this sounds fun, and wow, what a great group of characters, and what a fun potential the script has with the stories and where it could go. And um, this particular script I thought was really well written, and although it's for ABC Family and may sound like it's for a teen audience, I think all the adults who were reading for the adult roles were really interested in this script. Just the writing was strong, and that you could see that there was a lot of potential and a lot of stories and relationships to be explored. And so I auditioned just like a lot of other of my friends, and I was lucky enough to get this part, and playing a mom, and it's largely, the show is definitely centered around the young kids. There's four girls who are the leads of the show, and then there's a handful of us who are grown-ups, and we play the parents, and we have a couple of teens, and otherwise we're, you know, just supporting the stories that the kids are telling.
Right. And what is your favorite part about playing Ashley?
I think my favorite part is the relationship Ashley and her daughter Hannah, as an actress, the best part about our jobs, you get to explore these imaginary relationships, but they're based in reality. A mother-daughter relationship is something many of us know about, and so it's fun to explore it. The possibilities within those relationships, they're endless, and so you get to tell the one that the writers have dreamed up, and you get to try to find the various truths for that story and for these characters. But the relationship is always fun to develop. I love working with Ashley Benson, who plays my daughter, and it's confusing because I'm Laura playing Ashley, and she is playing my daughter Hannah, but her name is Ashley. So we try to keep everybody, guessing.
Yeah, I would be getting confused with all of that.
It's hard, when we're blocking a scene and they're saying, okay, Ashley needs to move to her right. We're like, the real Ashley or the character Ashley, which is so that's sort of funny. But we've been having a good time finding our relationship together, and it's definitely my role on the show is as her mother. So that's what I'm going to be spending the bulk of my time doing.
Very nice. And would you say that the character Ashley on Pretty Little Liars, is she anything like Sydney on Melrose Place?
I don't think she's necessarily like her. There's a quality to Ashley. She's a single mother. She's struggling to juggle it all, have her full-time job and be a parent and be present too. And what's specific to her, she's fiercely protective of her daughter, and when her daughter finds herself in a bit of trouble, Ashley goes to great lengths um, to protect her and to protect the family. And the choice that she makes to do that in the very first episode is a little bit shocking, and I won't tell you exactly what happens, but Ashley makes a pretty shocking choice out of what I think is desperation and not feeling like she had any other alternative. She couldn't think of any better alternatives, and so she made a spontaneous and somewhat desperate choice of how to protect her daughter in this circumstance.
Right, very protective mother. Now, you're a mother in real life.
Yes.
And tell me about how do you balance your personal life with your professional career?
Well, my personal life is, of the utmost importance to me. Family, we spend much more time with our family, with our kids, and just even being at home than we do doing anything Hollywood or anything, that has to do with the industry. Our kids know very little about our business life. It's very, very separate. Our priority is definitely the time that we spend with our children as much as we can, and coaching their teams and being involved with their schools, even our social lives sort of revolve around what our kids, friends, parents, those are our friends, and those are our community. That's our life, and our kids don't know very much. My kids, first experience is kind of really going, huh, about our careers. They saw a billboard for Melrose Place, and I was on the center of the billboard. And that was really new to them, really sort of strange, and say, what? Why are you on that billboard? And having friends at school say, I saw your mom on a billboard, or I saw your mom in a magazine. And other than that, they're not really familiar with it. They don't watch television. They don't watch the television that we work in, and we just keep it very separate.
Yeah, are your kids a little young to be watching what you're in?
Some of them are definitely too young, and some of them are old enough, but just not. They're busy and they're not huge television watchers. I do think that my older daughters will. I think they will enjoy Pretty Little Liars. They're 16 and 18 years old, and I think they will enjoy it if they ever have the time to sit in front of any sort of screen and watch it. I
Right.
do think they're gonna like it. I think it's going to find an audience quite easily in both kids and parents even. I think that it's ABC Family. I think ABC Family intends to create shows that children and parents can watch, that it's really family programming. And even though Pretty Little Liars has a bit of an edge to it, I think that's a good thing, that they're raising some edgier issues for families to talk about and for families to sort of experience together, and it's not taboo just because it's a little bit edgier doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And maybe families should talk about it, and maybe a television show should raise the issue about eating disorders or just relationship issues in high school and all these things that are really pertinent that kids do think about. Um, it's an opportunity for kids and parents to watch together.